Doing well, doing well.
Fall's here, it feels like, finally,
About that, yeah.
Was today the first frost?
I think so, yeah.
It's good. My wife's been dealing with allergies for like the last 2 months, and that usually signals the end of the allergy season for her. So
time to bring in the tomato plants.
yeah, we've been looking for that first frost. Hopefully it pays off.
Guys, look like you're dressed warm. You got your coats ready to go.
I know. It felt good this morning, though. It felt like football season, like for real.
Oh, yeah.
And hockey season, so just in case.
Like
Pens won the other night.
Penguins
So.
at home tonight?
They looked good the other night.
Yes, they did. Let's talk, how's that budget looking, though? How's that for a segue?
That's a great segue.
No, it's not. But it seems like we've been talking about it.
The weather's looking much better than the budget. Let's put it that way.
There's a cool frost over at top of Harrisburg.
There you
Do you
go.
want to go first, or I can go first, whatever you'd like.
It's on
Go ahead,
people's
Josh.
minds,
You
so,
can go
yeah,
first.
yeah.
I'm happy.
So there hasn't been any real progress made, at least not publicly. Behind the scenes, things are working. The governor has decided to start interacting like 100 days late. Josh comes on the scene, does a press conference, and starts blaming the Senate. Meanwhile, he's been going around the state, the country, doing TikTok videos. I think he's starting to realize that you can't govern via TikTok, that people aren't just going to roll over and do what he thinks they should. And he's just now getting engaged, and he's showing his frustration. It's reminiscent of a spoiled brat, actually, realizing he's not going to get the present he wants for Christmas, and now he's reacting to it. It's very unfortunate. It's not helpful either. Yesterday, I'm responding to a press conference that he had yesterday that was very petty. He looked very weak in it, saying it's not his fault, it's everyone else's fault. He introduced the budget, a ridiculous budget that was basically viewed as irrelevant out of the gates because it was so overfunded compared to what we're getting with revenues. So it's been unfortunate. This governor has mastered the art of short clips and swearing on social media, which is gets everyone real intimidated by his antics. But he has not mastered the art of actually being a governor, which begs the question, does he actually want to be a governor? When he was interviewing for the vice presidency, he was, asking what type of oil paintings he could bring into the vice president's office if he won. I don't think he wants to be governor. I think he just wants to keep climbing a ladder. He's not showing any indications in Harrisburg that he wants to be governor. He's showing every indication that he wants to go on TikTok and say the D word and the S word and stuff like that and feel like a tough guy. So his antics aren't helpful. The Senate is holding the line. Democrats want to spend. They want to drain our rainy day fund. The Senate Republicans are very frustrated with the negotiations. They want to get something done. I know Senator Vogel is working very diligently to get a budget across the finish line. And there's more work to do, and they're at an impasse. I do think that you will see some sort of product here, hopefully in the next few weeks, but you don't know. I mean, there's going to be real pain coming out of this impasse. And just so to frame it, take a step back, because this is different than what's happening at the federal level, right? The federal level, there's an impasse as well. The Democrats have decided to shut down the government because they want to start adding policy into a continuing resolution. But at the state level, what's happening is Democrats want to spend about $51 billion when our state revenue is about $48 billion. Well, how do you fix that $2 or $3 billion gap, which doesn't seem like much when you're talking federal dollars, but state dollars, it's a big deal. So they want to use the rainy day fund, which we've been using. We've been saving money there the last number of years in case there's ever a recession or a downturn or something like that. We have money to plug holes. Democrats want to use that money to basically increase the size of the budget. So it could work for this budget. It could maybe work for next year's budget. But after that, you're going to have this bloated budget, and we're not going to have the revenues to meet that budget. So when you have $48 billion coming in revenue, and you want to spend $52 billion, at some point, you're going to end up with a real problem. both ends need the meat. That's what the phrase "making ends meet," from where it comes. And we need to make ends meet in Harrisburg. And we actually have a constitutional obligation to make ends meet because we can't borrow money. We're not the federal government. So we have to make sure that the revenue matches the spend. If it doesn't, then we got to raise taxes. All of that to say is if we keep going down the plan of the governor and the House Democrats, what's going to end up happening is the citizens of Pennsylvania are going to have to pay more money in taxes. Or the citizens of Pennsylvania are going to have to deal with significant cuts to services. So we're trying to hold the line. The Senate Republicans, Senator Vogel leading the charge. We're trying to make sure that we are fiscally sound and responsible while still maintaining those services. Hopefully that's where this budget ends up.
Roman?
No, I mean, Josh covered a lot there in regards to, the realities that we're dealing with in Harrisburg. So let's be clear, too. Yesterday, the Democrats threw a budget together yesterday again. They threw an amendment on the Senate budget. The Senate passed a budget and was like, listen, these negotiations aren't working. The governor's absent. We need to figure something out. We need to, at the very minimum, pass what was passed last year. Because if that was able to pass through last year, we could have a conversation whether or not even last year's budget was reasonable. But the thing is like, let's get funding out. And then we can continue to talk about adding things in. Well, the Democrats in the House threw an amendment on a bill yesterday, and we had less than 40 minutes to even read it. So we end up in caucus, we get less than 40 minutes. It ends up, they say, being a compromise, which was just a compromise with themselves because it didn't actually include anything that we asked for or said. So they dropped it slightly, but it still brings in, the budget still spends $5.6 billion more than revenues. Okay? And that's adding up to what would next year be technically like a $1,700 tax increase on a family of four. Now, as Representative Kale said, this is something that because there's some extra funds, because there's been some fiscal responsibility in the past, we could do that maybe for a year or two. But we all know what's going to happen politically. And this is exactly what's going to happen. If a budget passes with the structural deficit spending, a year or two from now, we're going to hear politics and campaign about how Republicans want to cut your funding. And that is the problem because it's not the case. They're setting it up politically to create this political, fight over cutting funds, which we actually do not have. That aren't sustainable. So it's politics, a lot of political theater these past 2 weeks that they, brought us back to Harrisburg. They didn't really want to talk about a budget except for that last moment. And they had us vote on butterflies 2 days ago. And last week we voted on pet custody for divorce cases. It was an embarrassment considering what people actually are in need of and what our schools need.
At what point does this impasse really affect residents? At what point do services have to be cut? Or at what point is there not money to fund something and it really starts to hit consumers?
So it used to be almost immediately. After June 30th, people stopped getting paid. There was basically a shutdown. Services get halted, and there was rallies at the Capitol, and because June 30th is the constitutional mandate for when the budget gets passed. About 15 years ago, the state Supreme Court said, well, no, the Treasurer's Office, other institutions can still lend money basically in anticipation of tax revenue coming in. So that has stretched it out significantly. My guess is in the next month or so, we are going to start hearing more concern from counties, from school districts, from townships. They will start reaching out, and my understanding is come December, January is when it turns into more of a fiscal crisis for a lot of these institutions. Now, at the same time, there's still opportunities to do short-term tax anticipated notes at no or very low interest. So there's ways of filling these gaps, and they will be filled. And this budget, one way or another, will get passed. It's just how does this end up going? And Roman mentions that they're going to say that Republicans want to cut your spending in 2 or 3 years once we run out. Well, I'm going to say right now, Democrats, to all the constituents out there listening, all the taxpayers out there listening, Democrats want to cut your funding. They want to take more money from you. They want to take more money from you so that elected officials in Harrisburg can just spend more money. We are trying to hold the line and making sure that our taxpayers are keeping as much of their hard-earned money. That's what everyone in Harrisburg forgets. The governor forgets. The Democrats in the House forget. This is your money. This is your money we're talking about. This isn't monopoly money. This isn't money that's growing on trees. This is your money we're talking about here. And we could fill budget gaps this year, next year, but after that, if we keep these levels of spending, we're going to have to be taking more of your money, which I will be against, and I'm sure Roman will be too, but there's going to be a push in Harrisburg to take more of your money if we don't get our fiscal house in order. And so that's what we're fighting for right now. So it's not as sexy as a big policy item that we're debating over. We're not talking about legalizing marijuana. We're not talking about regulating different games of skill or chance or casinos or whatever, like those hot button issues that you always hear.
Very polarizing.
It's kind of like boring. You talk about numbers and spend numbers, but it's as serious as a heart attack when it comes down to where this is going to lead. So we want to be prudent now and not wait until there is actually a fiscal emergency. We want to take care of the problem now, and that's why the Senate is holding the line, and that's why senators like Senator Vogel are doing what they're doing to ensure that Pennsylvania's fiscal house can be kept in order.
Okay. We got a press release today about the Powell bill, and that's the one that's by State Representative Lindsey Powell of Allegheny County. Would, according to the press release, provide greater flexibility in funding for local transit-related redevelopment projects. Is that something that's on your list? Is that any concern? Or?
It is something we voted on yesterday. Look, I'm happy to talk about redevelopment authorities and what they can do and how we can help with transit and redevelopment. I know Josh and I both voted for it just to support, that measure. But it's one of those things that right now, press releases about specific bills and stuff like that are great, but we got to focus on the task at hand. Josh is releasing legislation, so am I. We're working on those things in the background, but yeah, I mean that's a bill that's there. I mean it's there for a conversation. We want the Senate to look at it and help make sense of it as well on their end. And Senator Vogel, like Josh said, is doing a lot of great things for us as well. So in that budget fight.
So the transit debates, it's like a breadcrumbing ceremony, right? I mean, they just keep putting breadcrumbs down and just keep, releasing a little bit one at a time, saying we're going to fund it here. Oh no, we're not. We're going to fund it here. And they keep leading us on stuff and breadcrumbs all over the, the floor of the House and the Senate and the governor's mansion. I agree with what Representative Kozak said. This is really about we got to make sure that we are focused on the issue at hand. The top priority as legislators that we do is the budget and making sure it's fiscally sound. And that is over 100 days late now. So that's really what our focus needs to be on.
And just to be clear, yesterday, the Republican caucus, and this is also something I think people need to understand, is that in the House of Representatives in Pennsylvania, the Democrats have a majority by 1 seat. But that gives them the power to run the calendar. That gives them the power to run the bills, right? So we have to, unfortunately, be in the position of the minority party and wait to see, when are the Democrats going to run this bill on the floor? And that includes the budget. And one of the things when they brought this loaded budget where we had absolutely no time to look at last year was we ended up trying to get it to revert to the prior printer's number. And all that simply means is that we tried to say, no, first off, we haven't had any time to read this. You've given no compromises. The governor's been absent. We want to revert back to this budget that the Senate sent over, the prior printer's number of this budget bill, and vote on that. And Republicans voted that forward. We did that unanimously together. And said, come on, let's get serious about this. Let's actually put this bill out and debate it. Of course, they shut it down.
And here's a little bit of just a little inside baseball on how this process usually works. So this is my 7th budget. And the very first thing that the sides agree on is what's called the spend number, what's the overall number that we're going to spend as far as, this budget goes, right? that's usually agreed on in April or May. That is still what we are negotiating over. I mean, you go into the other details. Once you get that overall spend number, then you start cutting it up, saying, well, we're going to put this much towards education. We're going to put this much towards services, this much towards economic development. We haven't even gotten to that point yet because we haven't agreed on a spend number, which is usually in April or May, and usually it's driven by a negotiation between the governor and the heads of the legislature. And this governor has been completely absent from this process, and he has a whiny press conference yesterday acting like it's everybody else's fault. Meanwhile, he's been on MSNBC and TikTok talking about issues that are completely irrelevant to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It's very unfortunate. There was high aspirations that when this governor came in, he was going to be able to work with everybody. He talked a lot about bipartisan issues. And as soon as he gets sworn in, he disappears and starts going out to California and the Hamptons and other places to prepare for his next step. So that has really exacerbated this whole situation. And it's just something that has made it difficult for us in Harrisburg to operate, because really the governor, along with the House and Senate leaders, take charge of this process and have a lot of sway in the process. And it's been, we have not even agreed yet on a spend number, which I can't say enough how ridiculous that is at this point in the process. Usually when there's an impasse like this, there's some policy issue, there's a recession coming, there's some serious service that people want to cut, there's a tax that Democrats want to put in. Like usually there's something like that, some marquee item. There is nothing like that. The whole thing is about the spend number. And the fact that we haven't gotten one yet shows a real failure of leadership by the governor. So it's disappointing, and hopefully we can fix some things.
And that initial ask by the governor was just so outrageous.
Oh, it's like, what, $54 billion or something? Our revenue is $48 billion. He puts out $54 billion.
And it's like here, throw this out and then leave. And it's like, we're like, it was
there was no bread crumbing with that one. It was just a big drop.
It was a big political speech when it happened,
Okay, you're listening to or streaming Rappin' with the Reps. We have a commercial break coming up. Phone lines open to 724-843-1888. More on the way.
Tune in every Saturday morning at 8:30 a.m. for another insightful edition of Living Well, a special segment on Beaver County Radio designed to help you enjoy the best, most fulfilling, and healthiest life possible. Hosted by Dr. Joseph Maroon and Jeff Boast, and presented by St. Barnabas. Living Well, Saturday mornings at 8:30. Right here on Beaver County Radio, WBVP Beaver Falls, WMVA Ambridge, along with 99.3 FM and 95.7 FM.
Falling in love is one thing. Having anxiety about falling is a whole different subject. If you or a family member are concerned about falling, and yes, either up or down the stairs, or maybe even out of bed, St. Barnabas has a special message and some ideas just for you. Years of experience in working with people who are prone to falls has given St. Barnabas special expertise in this area. Call them at 724-443-0700 and learn about ways that you can begin to feel more confident and safe, including suggestions that you can implement right now into your daily routine. Call St. Barnabas at 724-443-0700. For many years now, St. Barnabas has been helping people fall in love, that is, with their new, better life, a longer life, a risk-free life. Call St. Barnabas now at 724-443-0700 or visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com and learn more about living longer and better.
Are you into cars? Then listen up. Push Beaver County is presenting Garage Tours 2.0 on Saturday, October 11th from 7:30 a.m. until the Tour de Beav 4-person team endurance kart race at 3 p.m. Balcones Moon Township Ford will present a live broadcast by Beaver County Radio throughout the day. Frank Sparks and Gary Miller will be on the tour, checking in, and Curtis Walsh will be at Pit Race broadcasting live from the Moon Township Ford broadcast booth. You can register for Garage Tours 2.0 by going to pushbeavercounty.org. The Beaver County Radio live broadcast from Garage Tours 2.0 is being presented by Falcones Moon Township Ford and is brought to you by Push Beaver County and Beaver County Radio.
Tune in every Saturday morning at 8:30 a.m. for another insightful edition of Living Well, a special segment on Beaver County Radio designed to help you enjoy the best, most fulfilling, and healthiest life possible. Hosted by Dr. Joseph Maroon and Jeff Boast, and presented by St. Barnabas. Living Well, Saturday mornings at 8:30. Right here on Beaver County Radio, WBVP Beaver Falls, WMVA Ambridge, along with 99.3 FM and 95.7 FM.
Even though trick-or-treat season is upon us, it's not too early to start thinking about gifts under the tree. It's me again, Cindy Haladio from Friendly Federal Credit Union. After you come down from that sugar high of eating all that Halloween candy, take a look at your holiday shopping budget. If it's as thin as some of those skeletons adorning the yards around here, you better get that pelvis of yours in here and see me. Holiday shopping loans can do the trick for this year, and setting up a Christmas Club savings account now will be a real treat at this time next year. Get it? Trick or treat? Anyhow, make sure that you can be a great Santa Claus without ever having to put on a costume by visiting Friendly Federal Credit Union now to apply for those funds to provide a great holiday based on credit approval. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union. You got a friend.
Tune in for Spotlight on Seniors every Sunday at 11 a.m. Host Valerie McKelvey will highlight what's important to the seniors of Beaver County. Spotlight on Seniors is brought to you by the Beaver County Office on Aging and beavercountyradio.com.
You are listening to Rappin' with the Reps. We're going to go out to the phone lines. Good morning.
Good morning, Scott. Can you hear me?
We can, Georgie. Can you guys hear?
Okay. Thanks, Josh and Roman, for coming on the air and bringing this out to us. As a Pennsylvania resident for 77 years, I vote in every election. What can I do as a voter and a resident to force the other side, the Democrats, to bring this budget on the floor?
It's a good question. Thanks for asking. Obviously there's always advocacy, reaching out to the majority leader's office and the governor's office and letting them know, like, this is crazy. Like, you guys need to get, a reasonable spend number out here for people to get their services. It's really frustrating, because I have started to hear from some of my constituents in regard to this, and it's hard when you're sorting through the media and you're listening to talking points and you're listening to, press conferences. If you're watching the news and they're showing those things, you're trying to figure out exactly what's actually happening here. So I'm hoping that Representative Kale and I here today are giving you a little bit of an inside picture of what's actually going on, and how frustrating it is.
I wholeheartedly believe you guys. I really do, because I know how nasty the Democrats Party can be at times. And I just wish you guys could come to some kind of agreement to get this budget straightened out, and so don't kill us taxpayers and us homeowners. And wherever you guys can do it, appreciate it. And I'll try to do something on my end here too. And this goes out to Scott. Scott, is there any way we can get Matsy on the phone or on the air with you and let him explain his side why they're doing this to us?
Well, as a trained journalist, I'm always in favor of having both sides of any debate. So that's certainly good with me.
Yeah, give him a call. See if you can get him on the air with you or come to visit, and we'll hear his opinions why they're doing this to us, taxpayers and residents of Pennsylvania. Josh and Roman, you guys are doing a fine job, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. And when it comes election time again, you definitely got my vote and my wife's vote and my friend's vote. So you guys keep it up, fight like hell, and give them hell. That's what we're looking for. Get this straightened out. And I thank you very much for your time. God bless you guys for the work you're doing. And thank you, Scott, for bringing them on the air and your radio station here.
Thank you for listening, Georgie. We appreciate your call, too, very much.
Thank you, Georgie. God bless you.
We'll have Noah in just a moment with the news.
Want to make football season better than ever this year? Plan now to join your friends at the Hangar in Moon Township, the place where good times and great food meet. Watch your favorite sporting event on one of their 18 big screen TVs while you enjoy their famous wings, beer battered fish, pizza, or Taco Tuesdays indoors or on the outdoor patio. Check out their award-winning menu online for lunch, dinner, or a special night out. This football season, hang out with your friends at the Hangar, the best kept secret in Moon Township at 500 Flaherty Run Road.
Patriot Home Care is now hiring caregivers. Are you a caring and compassionate individual looking for a reliable income with benefits? Then call Patriot Home Care today. Benefits include health insurance, life insurance, paid vacation after 1 year, and 1.5 times hourly pay for overtime plus holiday hours. Patriot Home Care employees provide personal care, conversation and companionship, medication reminders, light housekeeping and laundry, meal preparation, and errands. Start your career in home care today and call Patriot Home Care at 724-506-8911 or apply online at patriothomecare.org.
In these unprecedented times, staying informed with accurate information is a necessity, especially in an emergency. Believe it or not, the power to stay informed and be aware on important news alerts in your area is right at your fingertips. Beaver County Emergency Services urges you to sign up for instant mobile message alerts today. It's quick and easy, and once you enroll, Amber Alerts, weather emergencies, and many valuable safety, warning, and important news bulletin updates will arrive as text messages in your cell phone. Sign up now by visiting beavercountypa.gov. It's free, and it could be a lifesaver for you or somebody else in trouble. Put your fingertips to work and turn your phone into an instant notification alert device. Beaver County Emergency Services, along with other partner organizations, is pleased to make instant notifications available to you. So sign up today.
Beaver County Radio's news source. 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and beavercountyradio.com. Here's Noah Haswell.
Good morning. On this Thursday, October 9th of 2025, we will have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. One topic discussed at the Beaver County Commissioners' work session yesterday morning at 10 a.m. at the Beaver County Courthouse in Beaver was when a New Sewickley Township woman named Laura Dangle asked the commissioners about any updates regarding their meeting with the Department of Environmental Protection on August 28, 2025. This is regarding some Economy Borough residents accusing the Beaver County Conservation District through the DEP of purposely stalling the construction of the remainder of their housing plan, and these residents confirmed this has been going on since February of 2025, according to Beaver County Commissioner Jack Manning.
There was a meeting. It was a good meeting. State reps, ourselves, the Conservation District, and it was mainly a meeting between the elected officials and the Conservation District and the DEP on who has purview over these processes and what point does the Conservation District acquiesce to the DEP, who is the enforcement arm for controlling the permitting process. We called the meeting because we wanted to understand, based on complaints we were getting, what the DEP's role was with that. We wanted to make sure we understood the delineation between the DEP and the Conservation District.
As Halloween of 2025 approaches, families and kids in Beaver County will be looking for times and dates to trick-or-treat in their area. The official 2025 dates and times for trick-or-treat in Beaver County, as well as a few spooky events in the area to get you into the Halloween spirit, can be found on our website at beavercountyradio.com. In recognition of AAA Car Care Month, AAA East Central will offer free vehicle battery and electrical system checks in October of 2025. A battery wellness clinic will be held at the Rochester AAA branch office from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Thursday, October 16th, where batteries can be purchased on site if they are needed. The public and members of AAA are encouraged to check their vehicles to make sure the battery has enough strength to properly work in the air of cold winter. Yesterday morning was when a cow was rescued from the median of Interstate 19 near Cranberry Township. According to police, several people reported seeing the cow at around 7 a.m. It is unknown at this time how the cow got loose on I-79. Police were on the scene during this incident, and traffic was backed up for about 2 miles approaching the Butler County area where the cow was spotted. Local farrier Kyle Carson was able to both rope the cow shortly after 10 a.m. and get the animal loaded onto a trailer. The cow is receiving veterinary care at a local farm.
It's very interesting.
And another one in the pun jar.
I've been puns all morning. I'm sorry.
And a budget impasse in Pennsylvania is delaying financial aid for in-state college students. The PA State Grant Program gives more than 100,000 students an average of $2,000 each semester. With the state budget standoff stretching into its 4th month, students face another round of delays after federal glitches and software issues this summer. Even after the governor signs the budget into law, it will take at least a month for schools to begin receiving the money. Some schools are crediting students with money they expect to receive or offering emergency grant programs, but the president of the Association of Independent Colleges and Universities says private schools already have tight budgets.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
Today we'll see mostly sunny skies with highs of 62 and overnight lows around 36. Some patchy frost to start the day tomorrow. However, another beautiful sunny day is in store for us with highs in the mid-60s and lows around 43. And more sunshine in the forecast for Saturday with a slight chance of showers in the evening. Look for highs near 70 and lows around 52. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
On this Thursday, October the 9th of 2025, at 37 minutes after 9, we've got a temperature of 48 degrees currently in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM, AM 1230 WBVP, 95.7 FM, and 1460 AM WMBA. Also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Thank you, Noah. We're returning to Rappin with the Reps representatives, Josh Kale and Roman Kozak in studio. And one thing I've been telling listeners all week, I got a couple bills from the Turnpike Commission. I took a couple trips north, and it's, I want to say literally highway robbery sometimes, the bills are these. And I don't know what that stems from, but what is it with the Pennsylvania Turnpike? Why do those fees, why does it cost $20 to go to Newcastle and back? I'm just, who do I got to yell at? Who do I got to work with to negotiate with?
First on that? It's the most expensive toll road in the world. There's a lot of people to blame. The Turnpike is a quasi-independent agency. So it's this strange combination of public, private. The overall problem is there is not sufficient oversight, or at the very least, there has not been the state government, the administration, other agencies have not been as zealous with oversight as they should be. And also, the state government has taken more resources from the Turnpike Commission than it should. So there's all this inside baseball going on with the Turnpike Commission. It is not filled with elected officials. There are governor-appointed positions on the board. The chairman of the Turnpike Commission is the PennDOT, not DEP, the PennDOT secretary. And over time, there hasn't been any oversight. When it was first created, the goal was to sunset the tolls and basically have PennDOT run it like any other highway. And obviously, that has not worked. That has not panned out. They just keep getting more and more into debt. It being not a state government agency means that it is allowed to incur debt, which, has been used by government agencies. And there's a whole convoluted long story there. Mismanagement, abuse on behalf of state government, basically just taking funds from them when they shouldn't be taking funds from them, forcing them to incur more debt, which in turn forces them to raise tolls. And everyone just points a finger and goes on their merry way. And now, all these tolls being so high, yet there was a massive increase. I believe the executive director or CEO, I'm not sure exactly what the title is, just got a big bonus or a big increase in salary not that long ago. So, mismanagement has been very unfortunate. And the number one thing that needs to occur there to fix it is oversight. just, I think honestly, if the public had a look behind the curtain, that in and of itself would probably fix a lot of these problems.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've heard similar. I mean, Josh has explained it really well. I've been told about, managers for very short stretches of the road getting paid significant amount of money. And it just feels sometimes when you hear about certain appointments and things like that, it just doesn't feel appropriate. It feels like there's something going on behind the curtain there. And yeah, oversight would be something that I think needs to happen there. And still trying to figure that one out and how we do that. When these entities that exist, for so long, there's a lot there. We just to have a questioning on it would be great. I think that'd be good for the appropriations process. Josh, what do you think? I mean, questioning the
and we
PennDOT
don't appropropriate funds to the Turnpike Commission.
But you could at least ask the PennDOT.
There's a way. I have an idea, but we're gonna keep it on hold. We'll keep you in suspense.
I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, you gentlemen have any public events coming up in the Valley or in your constituency area you want to talk about?
Well, Josh and I have a mutual event coming up. We have it with Firearm Owners Against Crime. It's Josh and I with Sheriff Tony Guy, District Attorney Nate Bible, and then the gentleman leading it up is a man named Jim Stoker, who is kind of like he is the knowledge base for understanding firearms laws in Pennsylvania. And this is a concealed carry seminar. Josh and I have each done our own over the past year, and Josh has done them, for years now. Just to give people the opportunity to come and ask questions about firearm laws in Pennsylvania, concealed carries, about their rights, their Article 1, Section 21 right in our Constitution, and, of course, the Second Amendment. It's going to be on, just putting up the flyer here to be certain, Tuesday, October 21st at 6 to 9 p.m. Again, Tuesday, October 21st, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Beaver Pool House in Beaver, PA, of course. So we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. It's going to be a longer session. This is going to really take a deep dive, and we'll be there. We're going to be there to also continue to learn as well, because I feel like every time we get to hear Mr. Stoker talk, we learn more. And it's going to be a great time, and people will be able to get their concealed carry licenses there as well.
Yeah, definitely go to that event. I also want to make mention, because it's usually not talked about enough, that even though we don't have a budget yet in Harrisburg, there's still a lot of work going on, and we are getting around our district, and our staffs are doing a lot of constituent services. So to everyone listening out there, if you have an issue that's relating to the state government, or if you have an issue relating to government generally, and you're not sure which, whether it's state, federal, or local, please come into our office. Use us as a service. Our staff is fantastic. I've said it repeatedly. I think our staff should get their own shows here to really explain what they're doing. I'm thinking maybe Mondays with Monica or Phil's Thrills to come in and just kind of talk about what's going on around the district.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
And it's understated, and in my opinion, the work that they do is so critical. Just the constituent work.
They're the first level when someone has an issue.
That's right.
That's the first person.
And they handle things from PennDOT issues to tax issues to, obviously we can't give legal advice or accounting advice, but we can help smooth the process. They know how to navigate the state government. So I just want to give a plug to them, and to make sure that if you have any issue whatsoever, even if you're not sure that you live in our district, because it can get, the lines can get convoluted too. Just come into the office, and we'll help you, and we'll direct you and point you in the right direction.
Josh's office is in. Josh, tell them where your office is. Mine's in Chippewa, the Chippewa Township building. Josh, yours is in Vanport.
Yep, mine's in Vanport, right on the main drag. If you get off 376 and you're heading towards Beaver, if you go the other way towards Midland, that's my office is there, right there on the right. We also have a Scam Jam on October 24th at the Beaver Pool House. It's 10 a.m. to noon, and we'll there to help constituents with scams and other things like that. So that's October 24th at the Beaver Pool House, 10 a.m. to noon.
I like how you said Midland. I know you're a local guy.
We
Said it the right way.
Midland. Oh,
Midland.
yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
No,
Midland,
that's all I
excuse me.
said. Yeah.
We're also going to have, I want to throw this out there too. We're still finalizing the details, but I'm going to be having a veterans breakfast coming up on November 10th. We're
before
going to
the
do it at the
parade.
Air Heritage Museum. It's a great spot. It's the day before Veterans Day, obviously, and we're still finalizing everything. We're going to get advertising out soon for it, and just keep an eye out for that. You can check out my website and my Facebook and social media here in the week ahead.
And one thing we also have asked the county commissioners, and the question I brought up with them, and maybe it's just me, but I didn't see as many construction projects. We were talking about PennDOT. I didn't see as many road closures or delays or one-lane traffic kind of things, at least in Beaver County. Is that an accurate assessment? Was there a little bit less of that this year, or if so,
We've
is there
had a
reason
lot
for
of
that?
like landslide, like collapses. I don't know if you've noticed that over the past years, like roadsides falling into the hillside.
I have to tell you, and go ahead,
No.
go ahead, finish. I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
It's
cut you
okay.
off.
It's okay, Representative Gill. I understand. He's getting.
I get fired up
He gets
over
fired
this.
up over this because we hear about this all the time, right? And so, but like we have a couple. One in particular, J&T Hill, out in North Sewickley. It's
Wildwood Road in Brighton Township.
Yeah, Wildwood Road, but that one right there. Oh, that's just and when you get the response from we're advocating and working to try to get these things done, and you hear the stuff that we hear about the way that things can be scheduled. And listen, I'm not faulting all these the workers that are out there doing. They're going to where they're told to go and what they're to do. But at the same time, it's like when you hear the bureaucratic process, man, it's just like banging your head against a wall. And it's really frustrating.
This administration has not made Western Pennsylvania a priority, in particular the counties outside of Allegheny County. I'll just put it at that.
Yes.
And I'm not saying it's the local PennDOT's fault. It's a funding issue. But I got to tell you, what they have done at letting streets and industry go where there's just collapses all over the place going up the hill, and the Brighton, there's 2 or 3 that are just basically undrivable, and then there's another one that's about to be. What's going on in Brighton, going down to 51 on Wildwood, that one. The other one by the hospital, there's a road.
Beaver Hollow. I worry about that every time I take it.
That's next.
not
It's
good.
coming. And they talk about it's the rain. It's the rain. No, it's not. It's the preparation of the road. It's how they build the road, and the lack of funding that they put into these projects. It's a real problem. It's a real frustration. Don't even get me into what's going on in the southern part of my district, because there you're at the foothills of Appalachia, basically, and you got all kinds of steep hills and what's going on there. It's become a very sour subject for our office. We've become very frustrated, and hopefully that there is some more direction to it. But I just.
So it's just a matter of not money, enough resources, or is it a matter of what you said, bureaucracy?
Well, it's misplaced priorities in my estimation. When I-95 went down, that got fixed in a couple of days, and it became a priority for the administration.
Out in Philadelphia.
And it was in Philadelphia.
course.
That's right.
Of course.
And that's fine. Like, I get it. It's a busy road. It needs to be. But you know what? My roads should be a priority too. My constituents pay tax dollars just as much as anyone else's constituents do. And the idea that this part of the state just doesn't get the attention, and unfortunately that's what happens. And we saw this not quite as much, but a little bit with the last administration too. And it's not even a Republican or Democrat issue so much. It's more about where the governor is from. If you have a governor from Southeast Philly or Southeast Pennsylvania, not Southeast Philly, from Southeast Pennsylvania, Montgomery County, and then you have a PennDOT secretary he appoints from Northeastern Pennsylvania, there isn't much representation for Southwestern Pennsylvania. So there's no one there that understands the needs of this region. And in turn, the funding is prioritized to places where they're familiar with. That's just how this works. Having somebody that understands and values this region is just, man, do we need that in the governor's mansion. But, with what it is now, we got to advocate and try and get as much funding as we possibly can. But it's been a real sour subject.
And we have one more break to get in. We'll have a few more minutes left. So if you have any calls, questions, 724-843-1888.
What's everyone in Beaver County talking about? It's Beaver County Radio, brought to you exclusively by Fry Transportation. Beaver County Radio and Fry Transportation, a winning team in Beaver County.
It's hard to even put a title on what Tom Young at First Consultants in Beaver does. calling him a financial planner or an insurance salesman or even a life coach still doesn't accurately describe the experience. That's because he brings dreams back to life or puts life back into retirement.
My job is to create in you the vision of the you that I think you can be, the place that I think you can get to. And you know what? I get frustrated because I see more greatness in people than they see in themselves. I see greater financial futures than they see in themselves. Most people don't believe they can get there.
Find out more by visiting firstconsultantsinc.com or engage in Tom Young's live simulcast presentation on the third Tuesday of each month beginning at 9:10 a.m. on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live. All advisory services are offered through PL Wealth LLC. PL Wealth is a federally registered investment advisor. PL Wealth is in no way affiliated with First Consultants Inc., nor is First Consultants Inc. a registered investment advisor.
Got kids? Too much to do? No time to cook? Download the McDonald's app today and get dinner delivered straight to your door from DoorDash. McDonald's makes it easy for you and your family. Download the app today and get exclusive deals and rewards. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Are you a fan of the historic high school sports history that we have in Beaver County? Beaver County Radio and the Fry Transportation Group are proud to introduce Way Back When. Every Sunday night at 8 p.m., Beaver County Radio will rebroadcast a classic high school game in its entirety. You'll hear the call of famous Beaver County Radio sports broadcasters from the past and present as they take you way back when. Tune in this Sunday, October 12th at 8 p.m. when we go way back to the 2021 Class A semifinal nail-biter as Olsh took on Gene Matsuk's Rochester Rams. Bob Barrickman and Jason Colangelo had the call of one of the most controversial games in Whippeal history. Way Back When is presented by the Fry Transportation Group and brought to you by East Rochester and Tusca Shop and Save, the East Rochester True Value, Dr. C. Timothy Lipp, Beaver Falls Athletic Department, and Beaver County Radio.
Dueling pianos are back. Pete Moran, the piano-playing ace who entertained countless people at Pittsburgh places like Station Square's Jelly Rolls, Sing Sing, and Charlie Murdoch's, gets back on stage at Jurgles Rhythm Grill in Warrendale. Pete squares off dueling piano style against fellow piano wizards like Hermie Granati and Wiz, the former keyboardist for Grand Funk's Mark Farner. Catch Dueling Pianos October 14th, November 4th, November 18th, and December 9 at Jurgles with free admission. A special preview performance comes October 10th.
Put freedom in your future. Freedom United Federal Credit Union in Rochester.
We're back. Wrapping up the reps. State Representative Josh Kale and Roma Kozak in studio. I guess I'll be seeing you guys at the Veterans Parade. I'm emceeing that in Beaver. Yeah, I enjoyed seeing you guys at the July 4th Parade. Doing a shout out to you both.
Yeah, we'll be up on the review stand, so probably close to you, right? You'll be up there next to the Connie. The courthouse. Yeah.
Talking about now that I got my mic fully up, we're talking about the Veterans Day Parade coming up in Beaver next month, and Representative. Talking about business and development. Anything there that's standing out to you?
Well, something that's just come across my plate this past week was the really devastating news about Pit Race. Those of you who know Pit Race, I've got some very close friends that literally spend every weekend there. People I know that have met their spouses there, people that's children race there, their dads race there. It's really sad. And there's a lot of grassroots effort right now to try to figure out what's going on and to see if there's any way possible for them to, try to figure out, can this place be saved or not? And I was on the phone yesterday for a couple hours talking to all kinds of people that have reached out to me, just asking, and they recognize this is, a private land sale and, but they're just like, what do you know? And I'm learning everything that everyone's learning the same time they're learning it. Right. And I've been reaching out to the borough and they're saying the same thing to me and Big Beaver. And they've been, great and having those conversations with us and waiting for that information to come out. But man, it's just really sad because, that place means so much to so many people for this region, for honestly the racing world. People, I've been getting emails from people out of country. I've been getting emails from people out of state, telling me what that place means to them.
The hotels and bed and breakfast restaurants get a lot of business from people at that racetrack coming in.
And I think Roman's right. This is a private sale, and there's all kinds of calculations that go into things with a private sale that we're not privy to, because it's their business, it's their property, right? I mean, and so, but all this advocacy, what it's telling me, and Roman has seen more because it's his district, it's not my district, but Roman's seen more of it. But what it tells me is, my goodness, there is a market for this. And at the very least, we need people to keep advocating. We need people to keep saying how important this is, because somebody's light bulb is going to go on that has resources, and they're going to say, okay, there's a market for this. There's a lot of space up in Big Beaver. There's a lot of space in, I don't know, Brighton Township or South Beaver. I'll take it in my district. But there's a need for this, and there's a market for it, which means, you can make profit and provide a benefit to the community with this type of facility. Maybe someone will take it up, or maybe the current owners will look to build it similar situation somewhere else. Hopefully that's what comes of this at the very least.
One of the speculation, people saying they're going to build a data center there or something like that. I mean, you hear development, you usually think that's good. Oh, data center, that sounds big. But we're also hearing that's driving up the price of our electric bills because of the infrastructure.
That's definitely a big conversation to get into with data centers. If they're self-sustaining as far as energy production on site, like the Bruce Mansfield plant, it's converting to natural gas. That's in Josh's area. That's something we want. They say they're going to be a net exporter to the grid. They're going to provide electricity to the grid. It's an already developed, or it's an industrial site already, right? That's one thing, right? But the discussion around the data center thing, I think it's the railroad. It's the new railroad. It's going to change society. It's going to change everything. It's coming to a town near you quickly. And people are spending a lot of money to build these things and develop. Like the hyperscalers alone, there's 4 hyperscalers just in 4 years that are spending $1.5 trillion to develop these.
Trillion.
With a T.
Whoa.
And for me, I think we got to do everything we possibly can to make sure that if these data centers arrive, or if they come to our areas, that they are not going to be going into the grid and causing consumers' prices to rise.
Don't let Democrats use this as a phony excuse because prices are going up because of their bad energy policies.
Yes, he's 100% correct.
Prices are going up because of what the last administration did in the White House, because of what the last administration did in the governor's mansion, entering into the regional greenhouse gas initiative. Democrats want people to forget that their phony energy policies is what drove prices up and is driving prices up, and they're trying to use this as a straw man argument to say, well, actually this is why, or anything they're trying to use. But it's their energy policies that cause more pollution and give us less reliability and more expensive energy. That's what's driving energy costs up. We've been talking about it for the last decade in the Republican caucus. You can go back and look at all the policy hearings we had on it last cycle. It's bad policy coming out of Harrisburg that is driving energy prices up, and it's bad policy in particular coming from Democrats in Harrisburg.
Yeah,
end of story.
We should have talked about the energy grid today, but maybe next time, because that's in this policies which yes, they're going to blame all of these other things, but the reality is we have the resources to fuel this stuff, and it's not been there.
And by the way, Governor Shapiro promised he was going to fix it, and he's done nothing to fix it. Nothing. He could fix it with the stroke of a pen very easily. And all he's done is propose another phony energy policy that puts Pennsylvania energy last and incorporates Chinese energy and favors that over Pennsylvania energy. It's typical just slippery politics going on out of the governor's mansion once again.
Okay, once again, another great hour of dialogue. I'm glad you were subtle today. I'm glad you... good stuff. We thank you for all you guys listening and streaming on Facebook. If you missed it, it's on our Facebook page, Beaver County Radio. Representatives Kale and Kozak, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Scott.
Frank Sparks in just a few moments.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.